So I'm calling it What's a Foot in Quilting, you guys. And I have to move this over this side so that I can continue on. This is quilting feet, when and how to use them. I like changing the feet. All right, so some things to think about. Okay, then I just asked AI, well, is it important to use the right quilting foot as you're quilting? It says using the correct quilting tools is crucial for achieving accurate, professional looking results while increasing efficiency and ensuring safety. Proper tools such as specialized needles and quilting feet can ensure precise stitching, reduce fatigue, and make the quilting process faster and more enjoyable. Yes, I did fix AI because it wasn't totally like that. So I added the quilting feet in there. Okay, so what we're going to do today is explore our different quilting feet and how and when you would want to use them. And this is your homework this week. I want you to show me some projects that you have used different styles of quilting feet on, and maybe this will kind of get you branching out and trying something new and different. So to use some of the quilting feet, you'll need a ruler base, and true grips are great for the back of your templates and rulers. And then notice we have our three-piece hopping foot set, our wonderful Wonder Foot, we have a super glide foot, and then we have our nine-piece quilting foot set. So I'm going to go through and show you some things to think about is while you're exploring the different quilting feet is what settings do I need to set on my machine? Some of them call for different settings. What quilting modes? What additional accessories do I need to use that foot? You might need the ruler base or you might not. What comfortable handle position is when you're trying to create the movement going across your quilt using the different style of feet. All right, so what quilting techniques? So what foot are you using? What other accessories do you need for your project? If you're using rulers and templates, then you need a ruler base. What settings on the machine? So think about what quilting mode. Do you want to use regulated precise, cruise, or manual? In cruise mode, think about the needle speed. Oh, I didn't spell needle right. I'll fix that before we go. So the needle speed is how fast the needle's going up and down. And I do talk about how fast it's moving as I'm quilting on one of the videos. So I'm going to let you explore that. And the stitches per inch. So using different techniques, sometimes you'll want to raise the SPI to a higher stitch count, or you may want to lower it, depending on the look that you want to achieve. What position do you want the needle to stop in, up or down? Do you want to use the edge warning? Is that really important? Yes, if you have the ruler base on, and we get so focused on our quilting space that sometimes we need that little warning to warn us that we're getting close to bumping into the front rail or the back rail or the sides, especially if you're using a hoop frame. And what handle position? Okay, so sometimes we don't think about the handles and how to position them to help us quilt more easily across our quilt or to create the beautiful designs. So do you want to change the right and left handles? Do you want to extend them out to make them a little longer to achieve the look that you want? What helps you drive it? So you know how you adjust the steering wheel in your car. You can pull it in and out. You can raise and lower it for that comfort factor because you know you're going to be sitting there. Your handles are quite a bit like that. So you want to be able to adjust the handles to help you stand there longer and create the beautiful stitches that you want and need. So here's my first video. It's on machine settings and handle position and the quilting space. Everybody, welcome to Quilter's Playground. Today we're going to talk about feet and the different purposes for the feet. You know how you have shoes. You have walking shoes, you have running shoes, you have toe shoes, a lot of different feet or shoes. So we have a lot of different styles of feet, and some of them have specific purposes that are very useful for quilting out different techniques. Let's talk about the settings on our machines and the feet themselves. So I will get into all the nuances of that, but I want you to recognize how important all these settings are on the machine and the handle position, as well as the other accessories needed to use different style of feet. So we're going to talk about the open toe foot. So with the open toe foot right now, I have put it on. It may require different settings. What's nice about the open toe is it allows you to see the needle position while you're quilting. So if you're quilting out feathers or an intricate design and you want to make sure you're staying within the parameters, by seeing the needle and where it's navigating across your quilt, the open toe allows you to stay in those parameters more precisely and accurately. Okay, let's talk about the settings. Now, for the settings using the open toe, it depends on what designs you're creating. Make sure you understand the different settings. If you haven't explored them, I encourage you to get out there and explore them. This is set for cruise mode. Now, cruise mode is a great mode for using with rulers, but however, if I'm quilting, say, circles and stuff, maybe I might want to use regulated precise mode. So practice your designs using the different modes and figure out, and then write a little in your little book or in your notes. You have a notebook in here, what settings you like for what stitches. So in your toolbox, if you have elite machines, a project. So for certain projects, you might want to use different settings. So you could use that as one of your little accessories to help you while you're quilting. Okay, closing the toolbox, let's talk about the settings up here. So the settings on the machine are just as important as the certain feet that you're using. So you can set your screen brightness, your needle brightness, but you can also set the needle to stitch stop in the down position or the up position, depending on how you want to work it. Then let's talk about handle position. Okay, we've talked about modes. Let's talk about how we're using our handles. So when I'm free motion quilting, I like to stand at a stance to get more stability right now, but also my handles play a big role in my alignment. So I know that this is my quilting area. That as I start moving this way across my quilt, look what happens to my body. Okay, I start becoming unaligned with the machine and my stitches aren't going to look as much. So make sure you're working within the area that you need to work. Stop with the needle in the down position. This is as far as I want to go. And then I can reposition myself and work across my quilt. So know your limitations. That's the next one. Understand how far you can quilt. Okay, the other thing is I can't quilt. If I'm short, I can't quilt in this area. And it's not even going to be comfortable. I want to quilt in this area. It took me a while to understand why quilters, when they come to a frame and a machine, they pull it this way. It's because it's more comfortable and they want to quilt down in this area. But if I pull it this way, notice I'm going to lose some of my quilting area and I'm going to hit the back of the machine. How? Know your limitations this direction for your workspace. Next, I want to show you, talk to you about the handle positions. Okay, so as I'm quilting, it depends on the design that I'm making. So if it works better with my handle like this and this driving it, or it may work better with me steering with the handle up. So play with the handle in different positions while you're quilting. So this may be a better steerer position like this. So as I get my full rotation, or both of them being down. Play and practice. Okay, we'll stop right there. All right, so just remember, know your limitations because we want to quilt as long as possible and we want to stay focused and keep it accurate for us. Okay, my next video is on the open toe foot. for the open toe, because I can see where the needle is, it's a great foot for designing with pebbles, going back and forth, or feathers. So for pebbles, I want more stitches as I'm creating small circles. So if they're small, dense circles, I'm going to raise my SPI up. If they're bigger, long, fatter circles, I can put it down. Then I'm going to bring my needle up. I just started here, you guys. Now notice, if I'm making my pebbles, I'm not staying right on it, but I could slow it down and be more accurate. So depending on what kind of pebbles you're making. Now it seems to be a little fast, so I'm going to slow it down. That doesn't change. It slows down my SPI, but it doesn't slow down the needle, okay? So I want to slow down how fast my needle's going up and down. It's a little distracting to me. So I'm going to slow it down quite a bit. Let's start it at 5 and see if I like that any better. And to me, that seems a little better because it's reacting as I'm moving. So as you're creating your pebbles, explore some of these ways of design. Okay, let's talk about feathers, okay? I know that I like the needle not going up and down as fast, so I probably will like that with feathers, but I may not. So I may have to stop and change. So I'm going to make my stem, and as I come up and around, I'm going to come up, and see, I want to up a little past it and my bone. And then I want to come up and make my hump. I made that a bigger hump to go around. And then my bone. So I can see where my needle is and try to keep it on, making my overstitching as close to possible. Don't fault me. I'm a little wobbly still. Okay, so for the open toe, you can see your needle. I like cruise mode quite a bit. I've learned to like it a lot. So explore them. The next one is I'm going to show you the correct way for our machines. Now, if you don't have our machines, read your manual on how to change the foot and make sure you're changing it correctly. Ours call for the foot height gauge, the 3mm Allen wrench, and the needle needs to be in the down position. Taking the foot off, and I'm going to put my new foot on, and this is my ruler foot. I put it so it's touching the needle plate. We're going to reposition it in just a minute. So we're going to turn our hand wheel with the needle, and we want it the lowest position. That's why I unthreaded it. And I'm using my hand wheel on the back of my machine. So notice it's the lowest position closest to the hook. Now I'm going to take my foot height gauge, put it right underneath my foot, and then I'm going to take my screw right here and put it on. That way you have just enough, and I'm going to tighten it up. Now, if you have a little bit thicker fabric, use 2 of your foot height gauges underneath. But as I pull it around away, you'll notice just a slight little gap, and that's what you want. You want it just so that there's enough room, but when the needle's in the down position, it's going to hold the fabric like you need it to. So I'm going to bring it up. I can use my buttons to bring it up, rethread, and put my ruler base on. Okay, that's how to change the foot. Remember, the needle in the down position. I love the ruler foot as well, okay? Because it gives me a high shape that will ride along the ruler's edge. Now, when you're buying rulers and templates, this is a ruler because it has the lines on it, but there are templates out there to help you create shapes, circles, whatever, and even designs. but you use them specifically. How I use the ruler foot, you'll want to buy those, I wanted to say, at a 1/4 inch thickness, okay? That's really important for long arm machines. Let's bring our threads up. So by bringing my thread up, now I know it's right here. And this is where I like to use my needle jog. Using my needle jog can help me lower my needle and make it closer to the point in the corner. This is what will help give you accuracy. And then I can put my needle in the down position. Okay, so as I'm creating my designs, I'm going to try to keep my ruler lined up. This is also where your true grips come into play. By putting your true grips on these little circle points and they're clear, it won't inhibit you seeing the numbers and the lines, but it also gives you stability. Right now, it's a little slick because I don't have my true grips, but I'm going to show you a template that does. So I'll turn it on. I'm in cruise mode. That's because I want a couple extra stitches at the start. And I'm just showing you, I'll stop. Notice I stopped it with the needle in the down position. And I love rulers because they can glide over. So if I was making a larger block, I could kind of adjust my ruler to that point, stop, and then you can decide what side it helps you. So if I did this side, I don't have a barrier. I just have this line here. But by positioning my ruler on this side, it's going to help keep me nice and straight as I'm going up along my seam to stitch in the ditch. And the goal is to stop it and try to see if I did it. Now, I'm probably a little low, but as we go across, we'll see. That's one of the things about the ruler foot is that your needle is inside a 1/4 inch, so it's kind of hard to tell, but we can see how good I did. I did pretty good, okay. So now I've made that line. Now I want to come in a 1/4 inch. I'm going to bring my needle up, move in a 1/4 inch using my previous line and line up my ruler at a 1/4 inch and try to keep it. So I want to come a 1/4 inch in and a 1/4 inch away. So I'm going to use this little crosshair right here to help me. And that's where I'm going to start. So now by making this a 1/4 inch, okay, so I could put this on this line right here and line up this. And now I can come in. That will make it a 1/4 inch. So I want to adjust my needle down. So I'm coming in a 1/4 inch right here. And I'll start my quilting. And I want to stop a 1/4 inch away. I'm giving it some stabilizing stitches by moving it slowly down. The goal is there to stop it right there. Okay, lining up. Now I want to use my 1/4 inch again. Okay, and I'm going to stop. Now, again, I put on this side and try to keep it up, or this side on this time. And this side, this time I want it on this side to line it up right against it. And then I'm going to stop it. I'm using my lines on my ruler. And stopping at a 1/4 inch. And this time I'm going to go on the outside. So I want to pull it right across. And hopefully I will end up right there in that corner. See how much fun and easy that is? Play with rulers and the ruler foot. It can give you a whole new exciting look to your quilts. Let me finish filling in the block. Okay. And then I could split it up into triangles and add a little design. Okay. All right, so the next one is the 9-piece hopping foot set. I'm kind of excited to show you. I only showed you the crosshatch foot. But the grid is the same way. It's just straight lines, straight up and horizontal and vertical. This is on an angle, a 45-degree angle. So have fun with this one. This is using the 3x8 ruler again, the diamond crosshatch, and the ruler base. All right, so say you had an applique right here in the middle and you didn't want to sew over it. So we'll just pretend that I have a triangle or a design right here that I want to quilt out, okay? And I want to stop and start. What I'm going to do is use my crosshatch foot, bring up my thread. This is the crosshatch foot. It's part of the 9-piece foot set. And I'm going to come down and stop. And just kind of show you how it works. Now I'm still in cruise, so I can stabilize my stitches, okay? As I come down, I'm going to move across. Now I want to make sure that as I'm moving across, I'm moving correctly, okay? So what I want to do is when my ruler gets to, and I'm going to travel on using my ruler as my guide, when it's just maybe a quarter of an inch or so, when it hits this, and I'm a quarter inch past, then I can angle my ruler. Notice how it's right along that, because I use this bottom part as my guide, and I'm going to come up right here and stop. And because I'm in cruise, it stabilized that stitch. I'm going to bring my needle up, move it over to where I want it to start again, and start, okay? And that's how you'll create a little crosshatch with a cute design in the center. Okay, and I did a fun little crosshatch. I'll have to show you the picture later on. It was a lot of fun. That one was more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. So try your hand at making a crosshatch using the correct foot. All right, next video. This one is the micro stipple. So I'll show you what the crosshatch looks like. Show you the micro stipple. Notice that the little foot, it just has two little like fangs hanging out there. And these little fangs actually allow you to make small, teeny tiny, intricate stitches. So when you're making small stitches, one thing you need to do is raise your SPI. I'm still in cruise mode. I'm finding that I really like cruise mode, you guys. So you guys play and find what you want. I'm going to raise it up to a 14 or a 15 because I want little. Now this is something you need to be sure that you really like because I'm not unpicking at 15 stitches per inch at all. So make sure that micro stipple is what you want and how you want to fill in your space. So notice I did my little crosshatch and I left some straight lines. I'm trying to make it a little interesting. I'm going to pull up my threads. The other thing I want you to look at and recognize is your handle position. Usually when they use micro stipple, our heads are down here and we're making little teeny tiny swirls or stitches. However, this handle might be better at an angle downwards, so adjust your handles what's comfortable for you. I'm going to turn it on and we're just going to go for it. Okay, notice I got my threads in there. Don't do that. It's like do as I say, not as I do. And I probably would have liked loops a little better, but that's okay. I'm experimenting and figuring out what looks good where. Okay, so now I'm going to go around my little triangle, back up, and back down, and I'm going to come around and fill in this little space right here. There you go. Not the greatest, but it's okay. All right, so micro stipple is great for filling in little empty spaces that you want to embellish and make them stand out. Okay, but be warned, I warned you, it's not for every block or design. Okay, this one is I'm showing you how to use the ruler base, the ruler foot, and the clamshell circle template. It's a lot of fun. Right now I'm going to show you a couple different rulers or templates. I should call these templates that we use. And I really like it. This is the clamshell and a circle, and this is the Leah Day. She designed it, and it's a feather ruler. And I wanted to show you how cool they are. And I'm going to put my true grips. So when you fill, I want you to fill where the lines are. That's the side that gives it that little grippiness, but we're going to put some true grips right here and right here to keep it stable as we're moving across your quilt. And notice they're clear, so they don't impede your lines. These marking lines are really important. So practice with your foot off of it as you're moving across so that you understand how these marks work. So right here, I'm going to leave this section right here for the feather. We're going to start right here and use this section going across. And I'm going to start right here and show you. I'll show you a circle in just a minute. I'm going to show you the clamshell side. So notice my quilt's not on straight, but I'm using my seam lines. I'm going to change my SPI. I just changed my bobbin. Okay, I'm going to pull that out. I'm not going to worry about my thread tail. I'm not going to stop and cut it. Because my quilt's not straight, I'm using the ruler or the template like angled the way the quilt's on. And that's what you want to do. I'm going to bring my stitches per inch down. Make this a little nicer. And then we're just going to move across, creating my first layer. I'm still in cruise mode. So I come down, hit that mark. I want you to notice that where this mark is right here, the needle is aligned. And I'm going to stop when I get up here. Right here. Stop with my needle in a down position. Now I can reposition my ruler, angle it, and continue on. Okay, so that's enough to show you. Now I want to go back across, creating my clamshell, okay? So if I stop right here, notice I put my little ruler, how this is lined up with this next mark, and as I go around, I'll be able to create that perfect little clamshell and stop right there. Reposition and keep going all the way across. Okay, so I could go all the way up to here because notice the line and do two at a time. Okay, and keep going and stop. You're going to stop with your needle in a down position, and now I'm realigned for the next section or group. And that's where I'm going to stop. Hey, look how cool. All right, let's move on to the feather. Almost done, you guys. Here's the feather. All right, my ruler base is right here on the edge. So know your parameters. If you have to use the toolbox and your edge warning, I use it all the time when it comes to ruler bases, so that I know if I'm getting close to this edge. Use your edge warning to warn you when you're getting close. We tend to forget and we continue on. So I'm going to bring up my thread. And I'm going to come around, creating my first stop right there. I want to talk about this. So on using this ruler, okay, you have to backtrack, clear over to here, but she gives you a line to line up, okay? And then you can readjust. So I'm going to come back around, trying to stay on it and stop right here. Okay, so that's going to allow me, see this little line right here? There's a little line. If you have a hard time seeing them, I'd use a little piece of tape so that you know as you're backtracking, this is where you're going to stop. I'm going to reposition my ruler just like this and angle it. So this is my little feather right here, and it's going to take me back around, lining up this part right here, back around. I kind of got off there, you guys. Okay, stop right there. But now I still have to backtrack to this part right here. And because I kind of got off, that's okay. I'm going to stop right here. Now I can reposition and continue on all the way up. This one I'll make a little better, okay? I'm going to go back around. Just like on a regular feather, I'm going to stop and reposition. I can keep going around, making my feather. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, see? And ignore this, okay? And then you can fill it in, going back and echo around and have a good time. So with this. All right, you guys, I'm going to move on, showing you the Wonderfoot. I get to show you the Wonderfoot and the wonders of the Wonderfoot. Now it comes and it rotates. Notice how it's just rotating around. It's fun and exciting to create. You can use a ruler with the Wonderfoot if you need to keep you right on, because sometimes we have a tendency to get thrown off when it gets to this point. But notice the crosshairs, how when you get to the corner, you know exactly when you're on. By using the ruler, it'll turn and give us that precise stitching in the ditch. Okay, that's what I like about the Wonderfoot. Now, it comes with these different lenses. I want you to pretend like this is my needle. So when I'm using the little offsets, these are offset, my needle is offset 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so as I'm moving up and using my ruler, now I don't have to worry about using the ruler to offset it. I'm just using the lines on my Wonderfoot. Same thing is true. This is almost a 1/2 inch offset. So as you're moving up and down, notice where your needle is. And you'll stop with when the lines get here, go across. So now there's more accuracy than using the ruler and the ruler foot when you're making your offset stitching. Okay, one more to just show you how it works. And this one's just kind of making some designs. So with the Wonderfoot, because it has this little rubber wheel, they have a tendency to get these little threads caught in it. So what I would do is I would start it off the quilt and turn it, tie it off. Let's see how much fun it is. Notice my curves look more curvy because it's moving around. I love the Wonderfoot. Use the different lenses that you get with the Wonderfoot for the different designs. Find which one works best for you. Now you have a clear one, you have the offsets. Maybe that's not what you want to use. Maybe you want the circle one. Each of them have a specific purpose, but how can you use them for your purpose and how you like them? Okay, so I hit almost the top there, but that's okay. Showing you the wonderful Wonderfoot. All right, well, I've got 2 more feet to show you. This is the Echo feet. Now I'm going to show you the Echo foot. It has a couple of different functions. You can use the Echo foot with a ruler if you want to, and you'll just put the ruler and it'll echo and help you repeat all the way across using your ruler. So you have a small, a medium, and a large. Other thing that I really like about Echo is it helps space my designs. So say I'm quilting out a flower, and I'll bring my threads up. or a popcorn. Let's do popcorn, okay? So as I'm creating my little popcorn, I'm going to come in and make a swirl, and then come back around. Notice I didn't change my SPIs. See how my foot stalks me? So my spacing is a little more accurate. Now I'm going to echo around and come in and create another popcorn. I'm using the edge of my foot to stop me as I go across. And I'm going to come in around, come around like this, and make my popcorns. So notice how it keeps me more accurate with my spacing. I really like the echo foot. Explore it and the different sizes and see which one you like. All right, and last but not least, we've already had the couching foot, but here we go again. So when you're using your couching foot, I like to take a piece of yarn and pull it through. You don't want it too loose because you will get not skip stitches, but it won't stabilize and stitch correctly if you're using it that's too big of a hole. The next setting that you need to look at is, I would use cruise again. Can't say enough about cruise mode, but I would raise the needle speed up. So I'm going to increase my needle speed and kind of give it probably about, I'm going to increase my SPI as well to about 13. So to start it off your quilt and then turn it on and then move around. Okay, and come back around. And notice you need enough tail, and I'm using my foot to gauge my distance. Couching foot's a lot of fun. Go ahead and try it and use it. I've shown you the couching foot a lot. All right, that's my last foot. Okay, now we're going to have a little quiz, you guys. So what foot requires a ruler base and rulers? The open toe foot, the ruler foot, or the micro stipple foot? You can just type your answer in to the chat. It's the ruler foot. That wasn't a tough one. Okay. So with what foot should you use a higher SPI? That's stitches per inch. The micro stipple, the echo foot, or the wonder foot? Just type it in. Give you just a second. It was the micro stipple foot because you're making small, dense designs. So you want to raise that SPI up. Okay. What tool should you use when changing your foot? The needle alignment magnet tool, the edge warning tool, or the foot height gauge? It's the foot height gauge, you guys. Okay. All right. What quilting foot rotates as you are quilting? The wonder foot, the echo foot, or the couching foot? It's the wonder foot. What position should your needle be while changing the foot? In the upper position, in the middle position, or in the most downward position? Okay, it's downward. It should be at the lowest position, and use your hand wheel on the back of your machine. Okay, last question. What is the best foot to use when creating dense filler designs? The glide foot, the open toe foot, or the micro stipple foot? It's the micro stipple. Okay. And then lastly, Make sure you register and subscribe to our Quilters Playground. Please help us grow and join us at graceframe.com. And really subscribe on YouTube, like and share us. And you guys, most of all, thanks for joining us and thanks for watching.